Hello, welcome to another video on the lovely little Woovebox. So we're going to cover the amplitude page this time. So before we get stuck into that, usual things. If you like what I do, please like, subscribe, click the bell button, usual sort of things. If you want to support the channel, you can do so via Patreon. There are ever increasing amounts of free stuff on there, samples, a lot of deluge stuff. I will try and do some sharing of Woovebox songs and things as and when I get round to working out how to actually do that. So let's crack on. So fairly straightforward. If you know anything about synthesis, it's pretty standard kind of stuff we need on the amplitude page. We've got basically the top row and the second row is we've got an envelope and an LFO. These two control oscillator 1 and these two control oscillator 2. So they're both identical, they just do they're linked to the different oscillators. So to start us off, I've just got a basic initialized patch in there just to demonstrate what we do. So the initialized patch is we've got 0 attack, 0 decay, full sustain and 0 release. So without getting too involved in synthesis, there are videos on my channel about that, which explains envelopes in a bit more detail. But basically, the envelope shapes something over time. So in this instance, it's going to be shaping the volume of the oscillator over time. So attack is how long it takes from you pressing the a button to start the sound, how long it takes to get from its basically 0 volume to full volume. So if attack is on 0, it goes straight away to full volume. Decay is how long it takes then to go from that attack volume down to the sustain volume. Again, that's a time-based parameter. Sustain is the level of the note when you're holding a note down. So if I go to okay, so if I just hold a note down because I've got 127 sustain, it's going to keep that going all the way through. And then release is how long it takes the note to fade away once I let go of the note. So let's just go with release first. So at the moment we've got 0 release, so as soon as I let go, as you see there, the sound stops dead. Let's see if we increase that now. If you want to kind of go to a quick one, if you just press down on it, you're going to get 2.5 seconds of release. As you can see now, when I let go of the note, it fades away. So I can hold it down, and then when I let go, it's going to fade away over 2.5 seconds. If you press the encoder down again, you get 10 seconds, which I won't demonstrate because it goes on forever. And then you can go back to 0 again. Obviously, you can then do, these are milliseconds. And if you press down and turn it, you can go up in bigger increments. Okay, and then that's 1 second, 2 seconds, and it goes all the way up to 10 seconds. So let's just leave it on like a second or so for now. So with the attack, we can do the same thing. Again, this is a time-based parameter, so it's in seconds. So at the moment we've got, I'll just put an attack of 2.5 seconds on there. So it's going to take 2.5 seconds to get up to its full volume, and then it'll take whatever it was, a second to fade out once you've let go of the key, like this. So I can hold it at the sustain level, let go, and then it's going to fade it out. So it's basically, an envelope is basically like, and an LFO is like what I would call a knob turner. It's like you're gradually turning the volume up. You're holding it at whatever volume you're going to keep it at, which is the sustain level, and then you'll drop it back down again. So if we took the sustain level down, say, to 50, okay, it's going to, once it's reached the attack stage, once it's got to its full volume, let's just make that a little bit more obvious. There's no decay, so it's going to instantly then drop down to that sustain level, and it will hold it at that until I let go. So this is the attack stage, and you can hear there it dropped straight down to the sustain stage. Now if we want it to fade up to the full volume and then drop back down, that's where your decay comes in. So let's give it like, I don't know, a second of decay. So we press it, this is the attack stage. Oh, hang on. Did we do that? No. Which decay did I do? Okay, don't quite know what I did there. Okay, so attack stage is going to go up here over 2.5 seconds. Decay stage, you can hear it's fading down to the sustain. It's going to stay at the sustain level until I let go. So that's how you can shape the volume over time with your envelope. Fairly straightforward. Like I said before, if you know anything about synthesis, then it does what you expect it to do. So let's just get rid of the attack for now, and we'll put sustain back up at 127. So yeah, you'll see the different parameter kind of amounts on there. So because attack, decay and release are time-based parameters, they are in seconds, and because sustain is a volume-based parameter, that's from 0 to 127, kind of like your MIDI velocity. So just going back to a basic kind of, we'll have a little bit of release on there still, and then the second row is our LFO. So the first one is the different shape. We've got noise, sine wave, triangle, saw and square. Let's go sine. So this is going to basically turn the volume up and down depending on the rate of the LFO. So if this is like your volume knob, your LFO is basically going this, turning it up and down. Okay, so we can have positive and negative values. So we're going to go 127. Now we've got to give it a rate as well. We've got to tell it how fast to go, and this is your next bit. So turning anti-clockwise will take you down into kind of like fractions of a beat. These are all kind of like BPM synced, right up to a 16th, so you can hear that. Now if it's off, you're not going to really hear anything because we've got full depth on the LFO. And then we can do it across numbers of steps. So hopefully that's a bit more obvious then. Let's go and hold it. Okay, so you can basically hear the volume going up and down based on the rate of the LFO. So let's go a little bit faster. Let's do it on 2. Okay, so you can have, so full depth will basically turn the volume, you know, up and down a lot. We can have a bit less, more subtle. Okay, so it's just down to obviously taste of how you want to do it, but the depth is basically how much the LFO will affect the volume. We can go like very subtle. We can just, like that, it's just going to like give it a little bit of movement rather than it like really turning it up and down, which would happen if we went at 127. Now if we go to a different, let's go for a square. So that's basically going to chop the sound on and off. Okay, nice effect to give it the movement. And the negative values will basically invert the waveform. So you'll probably hear this best on a saw. So you can hear the volume going whoop, 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 whoop. So it's a saw going that way. So it's like that way, turning it up. So if you go negative, it should start high and go down. Let's see if I'm correct. Oh, same one. Yeah, so you can hear it starting high and going down. So you can kind of invert all those. If you want a little bit more of a random sound, we can go with noise. Okay, because obviously noise is just going to make it crackle and that kind of stuff. Let's go back to the square. No, let's go. Yeah, we'll go saw again. Yeah, it's obviously faster and slower. Give you a nice kind of repeat. Okay, and then the final one is we've got hold. Again, this is a time-based parameter. Let's just turn this off. So this is what it sounds like at the moment. I think I just changed the. Let's just change that. I got on the square wave just to make it sound obvious. So if we hold it, let's go up to 1 second and let's see what this does. Did I actually do it? Around about a second. Okay, so so it kind of holds the LFO level. You can hear it's kind of like stepping up now. For 1 second. It's kind of hard to explain. It's more just kind of listening. Let's just turn that down a little bit. So, I don't know, let's go half a second, roughly. So it kind of gives you a nice, on the square one, sort of a more stepped kind of feel. So let's just turn it off so you can hear the difference. Okay. Let's give it like half a second. Oh, hold on, what have I done? Okay, and then hold it about there. So as I say, it's kind of like sort of holding the level it's at for 3/4 of a second as I've got it on now, then it's stepping up to the next level and the next level. So it's one of those things where it's kind of difficult to sort of explain what it does, but hopefully you can hear. Let's see what effect that has with, let's say, on the square. Oh, have we got anything on it? Yeah. Okay, let's turn that up a little bit. Let's turn that down. Okay, so hopefully you can hear how it's kind of cutting off, which is what you normally get with a square, but it's holding it for that 3/4 of a second, kind of like a little bit longer. So yeah, that's another one of those things you can, let's just show you, okay, without. And with, yeah. And I think you get this hold LFO thing on all of them, so it's a great one just for experimenting around with, just different ways of using the LFO. Obviously, that's going to work better on like long sustained notes rather than short notes. But there we have it. That's pretty much it for the amplitude page. Like the second 2 rows, this is just exactly the same thing. You can see it's got a 2 after it. That's got a 1 after it. So there for oscillator 1, there for oscillator 2. They are exactly the same for both of them, and they're very similar on the filter page as well, which will be coming up shortly when I cover that. So that's basically it. That's your amplitude page. Pretty straightforward. If you've got any questions or comments, stick them in the box below. I'll do my best to answer them. And yeah, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, go support me on Patreon. That would be lovely, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.